Heartwarming call revealed, little girl's incredible quest to find her hidden billionaire father. In the small Midwest town of Maplewood, a little girl named Lily Miller stood on the precipice of an unbelievable discovery. With her bright blue eyes glimmering like the clearest summer sky, and a wild mane of brown curls bouncing as she raced through her neighborhood, she was on a mission. Her tiny hands clutched an old newspaper clipping, yellowed with age and frayed at the edges. The headline blared in bold letters, "Billionaire vanishes without a trace." It was about her father, the man she'd never known. Life had been tough for Lily and her mother, Sarah. They shared a cozy, humble home, moving delicately through each day as though navigating a field of eggshells. As Sarah worked tirelessly as a waitress at the local diner, her heart full of love and integrity, Lily absorbed her strength like a sponge. They may have faced endless pinch-to-penny moments, but nothing mattered more than the bond they shared. "Mom, what if we're from a different world than I thought?" Lily questioned one day, clutching the newspaper clipping while Sarah wiped down a table, glancing up with worry. Sarah knelt to Lily's gaze, voice warm but firm. "Honey, our legacy isn't about money. It's our love and hard work that matters." But this time, as the annual town fair approached a swirling tapestry of laughter, games, and merriment, Lily couldn't dismiss the ache inside her heart. She clung to hope and determination. "I have to find him, Mom. I have to know," she whispered, her spirit igniting as if she were born anew. With the help of her well-meaning friends, Mia and Ben, and her wise grandmother who baked the biggest pies in town, Lily launched an unconventional search. They pieced together memories from townsfolk, each encounter revealing fragments of a man caught between dreams and fears, mirroring their own struggles. At the fair, they made lists, examining every booth as if each colorful tent might hide a clue to Lily's father. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. But the journey grew heavy as teasing whispers and puzzled looks accompanied her search. Lily, wearing thrift store clothes, felt the weight of judgment from classmates, hard as concrete. The fair's vibrant atmosphere turned into a testing ground, a place where her spirit wavered and doubts crept in. Yet, each smile from a neighbor or a word of support reminded her of the true generosity of their community. Just when victory seemed near, Lily discovered the bitter truth about her father's life, a fortune tangled with sorrow and sacrifices. He'd vanished not just for wealth but to escape the shadows of decisions that haunted him. Lily felt torn. Hero or villain? Unbeknownst to her, as the fair spun on, he watched from a distance, heartsick and cautious. A fateful encounter brought them face to face, electricity crackling in the air as family secrets ignited like fireworks above them. The townsfolk stood frozen, breaths held, hearts echoing the tension of the moment. Would Lily reach out in this moment of reckoning, or would the chasm of misunderstandings grow wider? With love and courage swirling like stars above her, Lily stood on the edge of a decision, a warm light against the gathering storm. What would she choose? The answer shimmered just out of reach, leaving everyone longing for more. The crowd's murmur swirled around Lily like wind, a tapestry of hushed whispers and curious stares. Her heart pounded in her chest, each beat echoing the uncertainty of the moment. She couldn't believe she was finally standing before the man whose absence had shaped her life. Lily's father, Thomas Miller, looked worn but somehow familiar, like a shadow of the man in the faded newspaper she held so dear. His eyes, though clouded with regret, sparkled with a hint of recognition. He took a step forward, his hands trembling as they reached for her. "Lily?" His voice was low, laced with longing and disbelief. For a split second, everything around her faded. The vibrant lights of the fair, the laughter of children, and the gentle summer breeze fell silent. All she could hear was the pounding of her heart and the weight of those whispered truths hanging in the air between them. What are you doing here?" she managed, her voice quivering with a mix of hope and fear. His expression crumbled as if a dam had broken within him. "I came to see if you were okay." "Okay?" Lily scoffed, a spark of anger flaring in her chest. "You disappeared. You left us with nothing. I thought it was for the best." Thomas began, but the words hung heavy in the air, burdened by years of choices and unspoken regrets. Behind them, the townsfolk watched, caught in a moment that felt suspended in time. Mia and Ben stood a few paces back, their faces a mix of encouragement and disbelief. They had believed in Lily's quest, but the scene before them took on a life of its own, proving more complicated than anyone had imagined. "Best for who?" Lily lashed out, the pain breaking free like a wave crashing upon the shore. "You made choices without me. Mom worked so hard to provide, yet you just vanished. Did you even care?" "Of course, I cared." His voice was rising, a blend of urgency and desperation. "You were my whole world. I thought by leaving, I was protecting you from my mistakes. I thought you'd have a better life without me." Lily's cheeks flamed with sorrow and confusion. Emotions warred within her: anger, sadness, and that little flicker of hope she'd clung to so desperately. She felt torn between wanting to embrace him and wanting to scream. Amid this flood of feelings, something shifted in the atmosphere. The nearby Ferris wheel, brightly lit and spinning slowly, seemed to reflect the chaotic journey of their lives up and down, tangled and twisted. "Why didn't you just tell me?" she finally whispered, tears welling in her eyes. "I would have understood, I would have fought for you." Thomas took a deep breath, his eyes glistening. "I was afraid, Lily, afraid of what you might think, of what you'd have to bear. I thought I could protect you by staying away." Lily's resolve began to crack, each word wrapping around her heart, pulling her in closer. She hadn't just been searching for a father, she yearned for answers. Yet here he was, standing on the threshold of her imagination, flesh and blood but filled with uncertainties. "Can we start over?" he asked, a plea in his voice. "I want to try for you, for your mom." With the heavy weight of the moment resting on their shoulders, Lily looked around at the townsfolk, who had witnessed the stirring drama of their reunion. A chorus of gasps rippled through the crowd, resonating with sympathy and intrigue. But deep inside, as hope battled against doubt, a new question formed in her heart. What would it mean to let him back in? Could they really rebuild what had been lost? Taking a deep breath, stopping just short of resolution, Lily whispered, "I don't know if I can, but maybe," just maybe. As the last words left her lips, the air thickened with anticipation. Was this the beginning of forgiveness or a step toward deeper heartache? The two stood on a precipice, staring into an uncertain future, longing for healing. What transformation awaited them both as they took that first step toward each other? The journey that lay ahead shimmered with potential, drawing them in like a moth to a flame. Lily held her breath, her pulse racing as she searched her father's face for any sign of reassurance. Thomas's eyes glistened with unshed tears, reflecting the same whirlwind of emotions that roiled inside her. Around them, the crowd remained frozen, their curiosity palpable, as if they were witnesses to a pivotal scene in a film where everything hung in the balance. "Starting over," she murmured, letting the words linger in the air. Could such a thing really exist after all the years and distance? What did it even mean? She thought of all the milestones missed, the birthdays without him, the empty seat at the dinner table. "Lily," he said softly, reaching out a tentative hand. His fingers trembled as they hovered just inches from her face, a bridge between their past pain and a possible future. "I know I can't take back the years, but I can be here now. I can support you. If you'll let me." The weight of his words hit her, pulling at the threads of bitter anger she had woven tightly around her heart. Could she unravel that tapestry to welcome him back in? His presence felt overwhelmingly contradictory, a mix of warmth and the chill of years spent apart. "Let us talk," Lily finally said, her voice steadier than she felt. It was an invitation, a fragile opening. Her heart felt like it was both soaring and sinking as she pulled her thoughts together, fighting against the tide of fear. But it can't just be words. It has to be real. Thomas nodded quickly, his expression earnest. I promise, I'll show you. Just give me a chance. From the corner of her eye, she caught sight of Mia and Ben, their supportive smiles encouraging her to take the leap. The crowd, though intimidating, melted away slightly as the moment became their own. Maybe this could be their turning point, the first flicker of light in a shadowed past. What were you doing all this time? She asked, frustration slipping back in. You said you thought you were protecting me, but did you even try to make things right? Did you ever look for us? His face fell, and the guilt was written all over him. It's complicated, Lily. I made so many mistakes. After I left, he hesitated, swallowing hard. I thought about reaching out. Countless times. I wanted to, but I was scared of what you'd say. I failed you by running. As she processed his words, she felt that flicker of hope reignite. This was not just a man standing in front of her, this was her father, imperfect and flawed, yet wanting to make amends. Inside, her heart wrestled with resentment and an urge to forgive. And Mom? What did she think? Thomas winced, the memories clearly painful. She hated me for leaving. But she loved you more than anything. I can't undo my choices, but I'd like to talk if you're willing. A murmur passed through the crowd, it was a sound of understanding. Briefly, Lily glanced at the townsfolk witnessing this delicate reunion, some nodding in solidarity while others looked on with rapt attention. In their eyes, she sensed a shared struggle with family and forgiveness. I'll try, she said, surprise washing over her at the steadiness in her own voice. This was the first step. But I need time. I can't promise anything beyond that. Time. It was like a bridge that stretched before them, bringing together what was broken but needing sturdy foundations to hold it all up. Time is what I'm asking for, he replied, his face softening with relief. As Lily nodded, a sense of possibility filled the air. They stood on the edge of something new, framed by the glow of the Ferris wheel, spinning tirelessly overhead. But with hope came the worry: how would they navigate this road together? As Lily turned to look at the horizon, questions loomed large. Would the past haunt them, or could they carve a brighter future? What would it take to rebuild the trust that lay in shambles? With her heart racing and thoughts spiraling, she wondered whether starting anew could mend years of hurt. One small step led to another, and she took a deep breath. Okay, Dad, let us begin. But deep inside, a nagging uncertainty lingered. What if the path to heal was far rockier than she anticipated? As they stood there, the crowd slowly began to reclaim their breath, returning to conversations and laughter, but Lily felt frozen in time. It was just the two of them now, the world faded into a blur. Their eyes locked, and she saw a storm of emotions reflecting back, a mixture of hope, regret, and a flicker of something that resembled love. Where do we even start? She whispered, feeling the enormity of the question grip her chest. Let us start with today, he said. Let us make this moment count. Thomas dropped his hand back to his side, but the tension between them remained, an electric hum of possibilities. It was daunting and exhilarating all at once. Lily's mind raced. You know, it's not just about us. There are so many years that will affect us. There's Mom, I can't just forget about her pain. That's not fair. I would never want you to forget her or her pain, he replied quickly, urgency coloring his words. You have to know that I've lived with that every single day. I am so deeply sorry, but I want to be part of your life now. You and your mom deserve happiness, and if that means confronting the past, then I'm ready. In that moment, something shifted inside her. You think we can just face everything together? It sounds so simple, she admitted, not wholly convinced. But the thought of unity, of actually confronting their shared history, sparked a fire in her. It won't be easy. I'll be honest, I'm terrified, he said, his voice a low murmur. But you've shown me that we can't hide anymore. I want to build something new, with open hearts. Silence wrapped around them, filled with expectations and the promise of uncertainty. In the distance, the Ferris wheel continued rotating, its lights dancing against the darkening sky. Lily thought about what it meant to spin in circles. Life can sometimes feel like that, endlessly repeating, but here was a chance to break free. Then let us do it, she said suddenly, determination sliding into her voice. Let us start now. Really? He asked, almost incredulity shining through the bittersweet tension. Yes. I can't move forward without trying. It's not just about you and me. It's about Mom, it's about healing. Thomas nodded, respect evident in his expression. I'm with you, every step of the way. I'll talk to her, I promise. Her heart fluttered at the thought. And if she won't listen? We'll give her patience. Maybe find a way to bring her back into this conversation. She deserves to hear it from me. Maybe she'll see how much we both need each other. Lily felt a swell of something indescribable at the mention of her mother. The hope was fragile, teetering on her expectations like the candle flames they used to light on birthday cakes. You really think it could work? I believe in second chances. The warmth of his words deepened the bond they were forging, but the looming questions clung. What if the pain was too deep? What if her mother rejected them both? Ah, the infamous what-ifs, Thomas mused, recognizing the look of trepidation on her face. What if it brings us closer? What if we end up finding a way to heal together as a family? Lily took a breath, letting his words settle. It's so hard to trust. I know, he replied softly. But trust is a journey, not a destination. Every step counts, even when it's shaky. As they stood side by side, Lily realized she was beginning a journey she never thought possible. It was wild and unpredictable, yet beneath it all, a sense of courage began to rise. In this moment of vulnerability, they were building a new foundation, brick by brick. Where do we go from here? She asked, the weight of her question wrapping around her heart. I think we start small. Let us grab coffee. Just you and me, he suggested, hopeful exuberance in his voice. Just before she could respond, a sudden wave of commotion erupted from the crowd behind them, a shout, and then a clatter. It drew both of their eyes away, and Lily felt a knot in her stomach. Whoa, what was that? Thomas said, eyebrows furrowing. Lily's heart raced again, but this time, it wasn't from excitement. What could possibly disrupt their fragile moment of hope? Let us check it out, she said, her instincts kicking in. But as they turned, she couldn't shake the feeling that whatever was happening might change everything once more. Was this healing process about to face another test? Lily and Thomas moved towards the direction of the sounds, dodging through the gathering crowd. The noise crescendoed, a blend of shouts and laughter mixed with the clattering of something metal against the ground. Panic bubbled in her chest. What if it's something serious? She thought, anxiety churning her stomach as they pushed closer. As they neared the scene, the crowd formed a semicircle around two small children squabbling over a fallen toy, a shiny red race car. A moment of relief washed over her. The chaos was just childish antics. Thomas chuckled, shaking his head. Kids can be so dramatic, he said, a hint of warmth in his voice that briefly calmed her worries. Yeah, they're like little tornadoes, Lily replied, her smile softening. But as they edged further into the throng, she suddenly spotted a familiar figure at the periphery, their mother. Her heart skipped a beat, but it was quickly replaced by dread. What was she doing here? Is that? Thomas started, his eyes wide with disbelief. Lily turned, nodding, not quite ready to process seeing her mother in this context. Together, they stepped back, the raw emotions swirling around them as uncertain as the crowd's energy. Mother and daughter hadn't been together in months, their past conversations stilted and awkward since the uproar of their family tragedy. "Maybe we should," Thomas began, but Lily interrupted him. "No. I can't do this right now," she whispered, her voice trembling. The closer they got, the more her resolve wavered. She watched her mother's laugh, spontaneous and carefree, and it tugged at her heart, pulling her in two directions. Lily Thomas's voice had a soothing quality, but the knot tightened again in her chest. "You said you wanted to face everything together." "I know. But it's different now. Seeing her, it just throws me off," she admitted. "Then let us not thrust ourselves into it. Just be here. Just breathe," he suggested, gently squeezing her shoulder. The contact sent a ripple of comfort through her, fueling a spark of courage behind the uncertainty. As the children began to play again, their laughter infectious, something shifted within Lily. Deep inside, a flicker of hope ignited. Could it be possible that her family could find laughter again? Just as she was about to respond, a loud shout erupted from the crowd. "You're not getting away with this!" A voice boomed, cutting through the jovial atmosphere. Lily's eyes widened as a man, wild-eyed and frantic, surged forward, pointing at a couple who had been standing nearby. "What is happening?" She felt Thomas's grip tighten as the throng of people drew closer, excitement morphing into tension. The couple shot glances at each other, terror playing across their faces, and Lily instinctively pulled Thomas back. The uproar surged again, and without thinking, Lily turned to Thomas, a fierce determination carving her features. "We have to intervene. What if they need our help?" She could see concern flicker across Thomas's face, but he nodded. "Okay. But let us be smart about it. We don't know what is going on." They edged forward, adrenaline flooding their veins. The crowd parted like water as they approached, raw energy crackling in the air. "Hey! Is everything all right?" Lily called out, hoping to defuse the situation. The man halted, turning his gaze towards her, something shifting in his expression: confusion, maybe even recognition. "You don't understand. They took something from me. I'm not letting them go." Lily's heart raced as she glanced at Thomas, realization dawning. "What did they take?" She shouted back, her voice steady despite the chaos around her. The man didn't answer right away, and when he finally did, Lily felt her world tilt at the implications behind his words. "My daughter." The weight of those words settled deep into her, filling every crevice with icy fear. The clock was ticking, and with that revelation, she felt the path ahead shift once more. Not just for her and Thomas, but for everyone tangled in this moment. "Lily, what do we do?" Thomas asked urgently, pulling her back to the present. She took a breath, the air thick with possibilities. "We find a way to help them." But deep down, another question gnawed at her: what if helping them means we lose ourselves in this chaos? As she voiced her thoughts quietly, she looked back at her mother, still in her own world, laughter still dancing on her lips. Could they really face everything together, or would this moment be another twist in a story that felt far from finished? Lily's heart pounded as she processed the man's desperate words. His eyes were wild, teetering between fury and despair, and his trembling hands clenched into fists that mirrored the turmoil in her chest. "Thomas," she whispered, urgency creeping into her tone. "What if we could help him find his daughter? Maybe it could lead us to something, anything that will fill this emptiness." "Are you sure?" Thomas frowned, concern etched on his face. "This could be dangerous." "I know," Lily replied, casting a glance at their mother, who still seemed oblivious to everything around her. "But isn't it worse to stand back and do nothing? If that were us." Her voice trailed off, the thought was too painful to finish. Before Thomas could respond, Lily felt an overwhelming urge to act. She stepped forward, locking eyes with the man. "We can help you." Where was she last seen? Her voice rang out, confident despite the rising tide of uncertainty. What?" He stammered, momentarily shaken from his frenzy. You really want to help? Of course. Tell us everything, she said, her determination solidifying. She glanced back at Thomas, who looked hesitant but ready to support her. The man took a shaky breath, awareness dawning in his eyes. She was here at the park. Just playing. I turned away for a moment and then she was gone. His voice cracked as raw panic seeped into each word. I thought maybe she wandered off, but then I saw them. He pointed at the couple who had been watching from the fringe. Lily followed his gaze as the couple exchanged worried glances. No way they're not involved, are they? She thought, her instincts flaring up. The crowd around them began to murmur, a collective awareness of something serious unfolding, but Lily couldn't let fear override her intentions. Okay, she said, trying to sound composed. We need to approach them. Maybe they've seen something. But what if they haven't? What if they're dangerous? Thomas asked, his voice tight with anxiety. We need to know, Lily insisted, adrenaline coursing through her. She couldn't ignore the surge of urgency in her spirit, it was as if the universe had conspired to place this moment in front of them. Reluctantly, Thomas nodded. Stay close, Lily murmured to him as she turned towards the couple. She drew closer, the chaos of the crowd swirling around them. The laughter of children faded into the background as tension enveloped her. Excuse me. Lily called out, her voice firm but respectful. Did you happen to see a little girl around here? She's gone missing, and we're trying to find her. The couple exchanged a quick glance, their faces turning pale. The man's voice shook. We might have seen something. What did you see? Lily pressed, trying to maintain a calm demeanor despite the urgent clamor in her chest. Please, she could be in danger, Thomas added, gripping Lily's arm in solidarity. The woman shifted nervously. There was someone over there, she pointed towards an area of the park hidden behind trees. They were acting suspiciously. Lily's instincts ignited. Where? Show us. As the couple slowly guided them, trepidation mixed with hope. This could lead to the girl, or it could lead them down a dangerous path they weren't ready for. You can't just go off on your own. You don't know what you're getting into, Thomas urged quietly beside her. It doesn't matter, she replied, her heart racing. We have to try. For that father and for ourselves, too. As they approached the edge of the trees, shadows seemed to stretch and contort into dark figures, promising danger ahead. Lily Thomas began, anxiety bubbling to the surface. I know, she whispered, heart hammering louder. But if we don't take this chance, what will we have left? In that tense moment, they stepped over the threshold into uncertainty, hopes colliding with fears. What lay ahead could change everything or call forth new nightmares. But as the underbrush rustled ominously, another thought crept into her mind, what if the answer to her family's despair could lead to their own healing? And then, the shadows moved. The rustling grew louder, nearby branches snapping under invisible tension. Lily's breath hitched as her eyes focused on the dark figures pressing through the thicket. The whispers of potential danger twisted her stomach into knots, but the father's grief loomed larger in her mind. They were walking a tightrope between hope and fear. Stay behind me, she insisted, scanning the shadowed area with quick glances. Thomas's expression was strained. I don't like this, Lily. We should alert someone. Get help. But the urgency in her heart drowned out his concerns. If we wait for someone else to act, it might be too late. Trust me, Thomas. We can't just turn back now. She felt the weight of the couple's anxious gazes on her as they hesitated beside her. This way, she urged, stepping carefully into the thicket, brushing aside branches that snagged at her clothes. The shroud of trees felt alive, thick with expectation. More than once, Lily had to remind herself to breathe. Every rustle could mean danger or hope. It was impossible to tell. The couple led them deeper into the shadows, and just when Lily thought they might be losing their bearings, a flash of color caught her eye. A sun-bleached pink shirt sat crumpled on the ground at the base of a tree, its brightness stark against the muted browns and greens around it. "Wait," she called out, crouching next to it. "This could be hers. The little girl's." The couple exchanged nervous glances while Thomas leaned closer, worry etched across his features. "What if this is a trap?" "We can't assume anything," Lily replied, her voice steady even as her heart raced. "We have to keep moving." Just then, a distant cry echoed through the stillness, a haunting sound that sent chills down her spine. It was a lonely wail, unmistakably a child's. Thomas's grip tightened on her arm. "Did you hear that? We have to go. Now." The couple, clearly rattled, nodded. "It's this way," the man said, leading them deeper into the shadows. Every step felt heavy with uncertainty. The wail grew clearer, and Lily felt her heart pounding in rhythm with the frantic beats of her resolve. They were close, so close she could feel the girl's desperation mingling with her own. As they rounded a bend in the trees, a figure loomed ahead. A thin silhouette crouched low, the sobs muffled but unmistakable. An instant later, recognition electrified the air. "Is that?" Before she could finish her thought, they burst into the small clearing. The girl sat on the ground, tears streaming down her dusty face. Her small frame shook as she sobbed, clearly lost but still fiercely holding on to her toy, a frayed teddy bear. Relief washed over Lily like a tidal wave, and she rushed forward. "Hey, it's okay. We're here to help you," she called out, her voice soft but urgent. The girl looked up, her big, frightened eyes locking onto Lily's as her cries faded into tentative sniffs. Thomas, breathless behind her, gently approached. "Can you tell us your name?" he asked, kneeling to be on her level. "Ellie," the little girl managed, her voice cracking. I can't find my daddy." At that moment, everything Lily had been fighting for, the fear, the risks, the uncertainties, came crashing down upon her with a sense of purpose. They weren't just seeking a girl, they were igniting a beacon of hope in a storm of despair. Lily knelt beside Ellie, feeling tears prick at her own eyes. "We'll help you find him, Ellie. You're not alone anymore." Just then, the couple shot panicked glances back at the underbrush from whence they came. "We should go now," the woman urged, fear creeping into her voice. "What is it?" Thomas asked, scanning the shadows. "They're coming," the man hissed, his gaze shifting towards an emerging figure that broke through the foliage. Lily felt her pulse quicken again. Would this be the end of their help? Or a new beginning in the search for healing? Before she could contemplate the answer, fear gripped her heart once more. The shadows were moving again, and now they were no longer just dark shapes. What awaited them on the other side of the trees could change everything. Or tear them apart. Lily's heart raced as she stared at the figure emerging from the thicket. Instinct kicked in, and she positioned herself protectively in front of Ellie, her body tensed like a drawn bowstring. The couple behind them shuffled closer, the fear palpable in the air. "What do we do?" Thomas breathed, scanning the woods for any sign of an escape. "Just stay calm," Lily whispered back, though her own voice quivered. She needed to project strength, for Ellie, for Thomas, for everyone. The figure stepped into the clearing, and the dim light revealed a familiar face. "Jonathan!" The woman gasped, her hands flying to her mouth. Lily squinted, trying to see past the shadow that masked them. Was it really him? The search team's reluctant leader, several days into their mission, looking worse for wear. His clothes were torn, his knees dusty, but there was a wildness in his eyes that spoke of desperation and determination. "Where is she?" Jonathan's voice was hoarse, raw from shouting. "I've been looking everywhere. Where is my daughter?" "Ellie." Lily brought the girl forward, trying to present her as a beautiful answer to a father's torment. "She's right here." The moment was electric. Jonathan dropped to his knees, calling out his daughter's name. Ellie. Oh my God, I found you. The wild rush of relief washed over him, and for a moment, all danger faded away. But as the child rushed into her father's arms, a sharp crack split the air, a warning shot. Lily's gut twisted. She swung around, searching the perimeter. Shadowy forms flanked the clearing, emerging from the underbrush like phantoms, their eyes glimmering with malice. There were more than they had anticipated. Get back! Jonathan shouted, holding Ellie tightly against him. He faced the intruders, his body instinctively shielding Ellie. What do you want? The leading figure stepped forward, confidence radiating from them. We want what's ours, Jonathan. You've been a thorn in our side for too long. Who are you? Thomas demanded, stepping up beside Lily and Jonathan, each of them ready to protect Ellie. The air thickened with tension, the future hanging in the balance. Let us just say we have a vested interest in the business you've been trying to run. And we want to make sure you remember your place, the shadowy figure sneered. Jonathan's eyes hardened. Not without a fight. Lily felt the strength of their collective resolve. It wasn't just about finding Ellie anymore, it was about standing tall against this menace that had suddenly invaded the heart of their rescue mission. She caught Thomas's glance, both of them silently agreeing to prepare for the confrontation. Ellie, stay close to me, Jonathan said firmly, his voice a soothing balm for the little girl still clinging to him. They were surrounded, but fear wouldn't claim them. They had come too far. Lily gathered her thoughts, feeling each thump of her heart echo with a renewed intensity. Together, she breathed, holding her breath against the growing storm. They wouldn't let fear dictate their actions. They were a team. Suddenly, a flash of movement broke through the chaotic atmosphere. One of the shadowy figures lunged forward, aiming right for Ellie. No. Lily's emotions erupted. Without thinking, she threw herself forward, ready to protect the girl at all costs. As the world faded into chaos, what would become of their fragile alliance? Would they stand together against the dark or be swallowed whole? The next moments could change everything or tear them apart in an instant. The moment Lily felt the weight of the world pressing down on her shoulders. She lunged forward, heart pounding in her chest, ready to intercept whatever threat was headed for Ellie. The seconds stretched into an eternity. She could see the glint of a weapon in the light and the fierce determination in the shadowy figure's eyes. Get away from her. Jonathan's roar pierced through the tension, his protective instincts kicking in. His fierce embrace around Ellie tightened as he pushed her back instinctively, moving her further behind him. A flurry of movement erupted. Lily barely registered the sharp sound of a struggle, her eyes glued to the figure darting closer. She could feel her pulse racing, the rhythm matching the chaos around her. Without thinking, she surged forward, not one to back down. The figure was close now, eyes narrowed and focused. Lily threw a hand forward, aiming to block the attack meant for Ellie. But suddenly, Thomas was there beside her, grappling with the intruder, a fierce look of determination on his face. The two passions clashed violently. Lily! Hold Ellie! He shouted as he fought for control. Fear and adrenaline coursed through her veins as she nodded, gripping the little girl tightly, shielding her from the fray. Ellie's breath came in quick bursts beside her, innocent but overshadowed by the chaos. Mama? She whimpered, her tiny hands gripping Lily's arm. I'm here, sweetie, Lily assured, her voice surprisingly steady despite the turmoil. She glanced at Jonathan, who was trying to fend off another attacker. This was no longer just about them, it was about saving everyone. The shifting shadows around them grew bolder, emboldened by their numbers. We're taking what's ours. The lead figure shouted again, a sneer curling their lip. The fire in Jonathan's eyes turned to an icy resolve. You can't have her. He bellowed, throwing himself into the fight. Lily felt fear turn to fury. They had come too far to back down now. Stay back. She yelled, her voice ringing out through the trees. Could they really win? The odds felt overwhelming. But their unity was their greatest strength, and even in the depths of her fear, she knew they had each other. Suddenly, there was a sharp crack and a flash of red as something hit the ground between them and the attackers. Smoke began to billow, filling the clearing with murky chaos. Lily coughed and stumbled back, trying to shield Ellie from the thickening haze. Now, move! Jonathan yelled, his voice sharp and desperate. Run! Everyone! In the confusion, Lily could see the shadowy figures hesitating, thrown off by the sudden change. It was their moment. Grabbing Ellie's hand tightly, she hesitated only a second to look at Thomas. Go! They broke into a sprint, hearts racing, the world around them falling into blurred images and echoes of chaos as they dashed through the trees, leaving behind the clash that had threatened to consume them. Breathless, they stumbled into an open field, gasping for air. The sky felt vast above them, a stark contrast to the claustrophobia they'd just escaped. But Lily didn't have time to reflect. They were still in danger. Everything they fought for hung in the balance. Behind them, the murmur of voices grew louder, thrumming with an energy that sent shivers down her spine. Jonathan, we can't stop. She urged, pulling Ellie closer. They had to keep moving. As they burst into the clearing, the weight of the world still pressed down on them, but they had each other. It was the lifeline they all desperately needed. Each heartbeat echoed hope, a reminder that they were still together. But what awaited them at the edge of that field? Would they find sanctuary, or was it just another trap waiting to ensnare them? The vision of the shadowy figures loomed large in her mind, like ghosts trailing them, and the uncertainty sent a chill down her spine. With every step forward, the tension mounted. What lay ahead could change everything once more. Lily, Thomas, and Jonathan sprinted away from the chaos behind them, the adrenaline surging with every heartbeat. They could hear the muffled shouts from the figures still lost in the smoke, but the world around them opened up into a vast field, filled with promise and possibility. Over there! Jonathan shouted, pointing to a distant farmhouse perched on a hill. It looked like a beacon of safety, standing strong against the setting sun. Without hesitation, they changed direction, dashing across the grass, urgency propelling them forward. Every step felt like a battle against doubt and fear. What if they catch up? Lily thought, glancing back, but the sounds of chaos faded behind them. Ellie clung to Lily's hand, her little fingers shaking with both fear and the thrill of hopeful escape. Are we safe? She asked, wide-eyed. Almost, Ellie. Just a little further, Lily replied, trying to reassure not only the young girl but herself, too. As they reached the edge of the property, an old man appeared on the porch, eyes wide with concern. What is happening? Are you all right? Please help us. Jonathan called out, breathless. We're being chased. They've got my daughter. The man's brow furrowed, and without waiting for another word, he gestured toward the door behind him. Get inside. Quickly. They hurried through the door, the warmth of the house enveloping them like a comforting hug. Lock it, now. Jonathan commanded, and the man obeyed, slamming the door shut. Who were those people? The old man asked, concern etched in his features. Just some bad folks. They wanted Ellie, Jonathan muttered, pulling his daughter close, his eyes cast down. Ellie whimpered softly against her father's arm. Are they gone? I don't know, sweetheart, Jonathan whispered, dread thickening the air. Lily's heart raced as she glanced around the room. It was a dusty old farmhouse full of memories, with pictures on the walls of families long gone. We can't let fear define us, she thought, drawing strength from the surroundings. We need to call for help, Thomas suggested, already moving toward the phone on the wall. Right. We should call the police, Lily agreed, her mind racing. Just then, a loud bang echoed outside, and they all jumped, fear washing over them once more. What was that? Jonathan's face twisted with concern, urgency transforming into sheer panic. "I'll check," Thomas offered bravely, signaling for them to stay back. He crept toward the window, peering out through the tattered curtain. "What do you see?" Lily breathed, holding Ellie close. "There's a car they're searching," Thomas said, his voice steady even as it trembled with tension. "We're not safe yet." The room filled with silence as everyone processed the gravity of the situation. "Are they coming for us?" Ellie asked, her voice small, fear flickering in her eyes. "No," Lily promised, kneeling down to meet her gaze. "They won't find us here. We'll figure this out together. You just stay close to us, okay?" Ellie nodded, and the trust in her little eyes pushed Lily to be stronger. "We can't stay locked up forever," Jonathan said, his hands fidgeting with anxiety. "They need to leave this property." "We have to distract them," Thomas suggested. "We can help them focus on something else while we figure out our next move." Lily's heart lifted. "Yes. We need to give Ellie and Jonathan a chance to escape if it comes to it." "What do you have in mind?" Jonathan asked, a flicker of determination in his eyes. "I can create a distraction outside while you all find a safe way out the back," Henry, the old man, offered, eyes sparkling with unexpected vigor. "I've always had a plan for just such a thing." "Thank you," Jonathan exclaimed, grateful for any help he could muster. "Trust me," Henry smiled, confidence radiating as he grabbed an old walkie-talkie from the table. "Let us get moving." Lily felt a rush of adrenaline. Even amid fear, they had each other, and purpose ignited the air. Plans began to weave, confusion turning into action. Once they gathered their thoughts, Lily took a deep breath. "Okay. We can do this. We get Ellie safe. We're in this together," Thomas nodded, clenching his jaw, determination shining through. Without another moment's hesitation, they crept toward the back door, hearts pounding with hope. As they stepped outside, the evening sky cast a warm golden hue over the world, illuminating the path ahead. But lurking shadows threatened their newfound safety. "Let us go," Jonathan urged, glancing back toward the house, still uncertain but protective instincts unyielding. With quiet steps, the group moved through the tall grass, hearts racing, focused on their ultimate goal, safety. They'd come this far, they would not let fear tear them apart. As they made their way toward the tree line, a new sense of clarity emerged. Moments of doubt and fear were intertwined with joy, and they had moved closer to healing, not just for one, but for all of them. Behind them, the farmhouse stood brave against the setting sun, a sanctuary for their struggle. And for the first time in a long while, hope shimmered brightly before them, echoing in the depths of their hearts as they sprinted toward a future that was theirs to create. Lily looked down at Ellie, who smiled back through her tears, and felt the warmth of their journey burning brighter than ever. This is where healing began, and united they could face anything. They weren't just witnesses to transformation, they were becoming a family, one small step at a time. As they disappeared into the woods, the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky with hues of hope. If you felt the pull of this unforgettable journey, you need to subscribe now. Don't miss what comes next. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and keep this community growing. Comment below your reactions. What did you feel in this moment of transformation? And share this with at least 5 friends who need a little hope and bravery in their lives. Don't wait not even one more second. Show your support.